The Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them franchise has received some good news recently. The film will be with us earlier than expected in spring of next year. The Secrets of Dumbledore was originally set to be released in July, but has since been brought forward to April, which we love. Stay with us, as today we're discussing why fans are turning against the franchise. First up, where did we leave off with the second movie? The sequel to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them dropped in 2018, 2 years after the first movie came out. The movie starts off with Grindelwald being transferred to Europe to stand trial. However, the conniving wizard escapes. A couple of months later, Newt Scamander appeals his travel ban at the Ministry of Magic and bumps into an old Hogwarts friend, Leta Lestrange, who is the fiancée of his Auror brother, Theseus. His travel will be reinstated if he agrees to help Theseus find Credence Barebone in Paris, to which Next wants nothing to do with. Albus Dumbledore steps in to ask Newt to find Credence as he believes he is Leta's long-lost brother. Grindelwald is attempting to spark a global movement against the inferior Muggles and searched out a young Obscurian who he believes is key to his plans. It is this plan Dumbledore wants Newt to thwart and tries to convince him it is in his best interest to do so. Grindelwald has big plans and even goes as far as to show how incompetent the non-magic people are by showing them future images of World War II and how they'll destroy the world sneaky. We find out at the end of the film that Dumbledore and Grindelwald have a blood pact which cannot be broken, which is why Dumbledore won't fight him as it was an unbreakable vow. He eventually tells Next there may be a way for him to break it. So what will happen in the third installment? Stay with us to find out. The first official synopsis for the third Fantastic Beasts movie dropped earlier this year, and it's not entirely rosy for Newt, Dumbledore, and the rest of the crew. As we know, Grindelwald is plotting to take control of wizards around the world. Newt Scamander, Magizootologist extraordinaire, is on hand to lead a team of wizards, which is in a muggle, to put a stop to Grindelwald's plans at all costs. There were some rumors claiming that the third movie would be set in Brazil and there'd be more focus on Dumbledore, which the title of the movie, The Secrets of Dumbledore, would suggest. Jacob Kowalski actor Dan Fogler had this to say about the upcoming movie. The character development is really lovely and it's very similar to the feel of the first movie, which I think is great. It's leading toward this massive war with the backdrop of World War II, so you can just imagine epic battle scenes are coming. That all sounds super exciting. Catherine Watterson, who plays Perpetina Goldstein, went on to say that we should expect surprises in the next installment, but remained fairly tight-lipped about the rest of the plot. We hope it's better than the second Fantastic Beasts, as that one came in for a fair bit of criticism. So why exactly are fans turning against the franchise? As we just mentioned, the second film came in for a bit of flack from fans of Harry Potter universe. Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald was pretty convoluted, and the relationship between Jude Law's Dumbledore and the character of Gellert Grindelwald has fans split. And it's not only the thing that's causing discussion between fans. Plotlines and casting choices are also causing fans to revolt. Back when the second movie came out, Johnny Depp was in the midst of a legal battle after rumors of abuse surfaced from his past. He was subsequently cleared and fans wanted him reinstated. So this issue is something they're not happy about. The second movie also avoided the relationship between Grindelwald and Dumbledore, something fans were dying to know more about. We could have done with a flashback or two to introduce us to the nature of their relationship, or even a scene or two with the pair in. Fans were also frustrated with the fact that Claudia Kim's character in the franchise wasn't immediately addressed, leading to rumors that there was some sort of mystery surrounding the character. Due to her proximity to Credence in the initial images for the movie, fans figured out she was a Maleticus, and then it was confirmed Kim was in fact playing Nagini, a witch who will go on to become one of Voldemort's Horcruxes. More on that later. This was all a bit strange and spoke to problems with the canon of the movie. But it's 5 movies long, right? Sure is. And this is one of the main things irking fans. It was originally talked about as a trilogy, which many fans thought would have been better. The expansion was deemed unnecessary, and some fans even suggested it was a greedy move by the studio to milk the franchise dry. Another criticism, as we alluded to earlier, was that the storyline was far too cluttered and it made far too much going on within each storyline. The plot was expected to develop subsequently enough so that fans knew where we were up to, but that was not what happened. The first movie did well enough at setting up storyline, but the second should have been where it really started to motor. Fans are worried that the third movie movie will just be more of the same without sufficiently developing the story and introducing more characters and complicated plot lines. Hopefully, the third movie will deliver a better, more straightforward storyline than the second did. So what questions do fans want answered in the third installment? First of all, Nagini, stay tuned. Potter fans the world over believe that they had seen the last of Nagini in Deathly Hallows when Neville cut Voldemort's snake head off. But then in Fantastic Beasts 2, there was a reappearance, in human form no less. The problem with this was that Nagini only has a few lines in the entire film, and fans already knew she was a Maleticus from the previous trailer. We learn that she's a good friend to Credence after he helps her escape from the circus in Paris. She wants to help him in his search for the truth about his family. Nagini takes Commander's side when forced to choose and is made to watch as Credence chooses Grindelwald. At this point in Rowling's stories, Nagini is not evil. Biggest question is how she comes to be Voldemort's sidekick, as at no point did she use any magical powers, so the question has to be asked whether or not she becomes more connected to him in the next movie, or does he decide to turn her into a snake forever? We just don't know. What do you think? Give us some predictions of how Nagini's storyline will develop. Next, we're discussing how Dumbledore is going to get around the Blood Pact. In the previous film, we see Newt give Dumbledore a piece of jewelry containing drops of both Dumbledore's and Grindelwald's blood, after sneakily stealing it from Grindelwald's jacket. Dumbledore confessed at the end of the movie what exactly the pact consisted of, that they would never fight each other. But now, for the sake of all things good, he must break his sacred pact. The pact was made when the pair was teenagers, so it has long stood the test of time, and also tells us why Dumbledore chose Scamander to do his bidding for him, rather than doing it himself. Dumbledore does tell Protégé that he is going to try and break the pact, but we don't know how serious he is, or whether Grindelwald will fight him. We think Grindelwald would probably renege on his part of the bargain as soon as he sees Dumbledore betray his sacred vow. We know that later on in time, in 1945, Dumbledore and Grindelwald do in fact battle, with Dumbledore coming out victorious, but we don't know how they get to this point, or how they get around the pact, which will need explaining in the new one. What do you guys think about this? Will Dumbledore have to do something horrible? Let us know below. And finally, how does the all-knowing Dumbledore have a brother he doesn't know about? Stay with us to discuss. As we have seen throughout the movies, Albus Dumbledore is on the ball. He always knows the right things to say and do, and is seemingly a step ahead of everyone, apart from when it comes to knowing about a brother he has. Even worse is Grindelwald knew who Credence was, and spilt the beans to him at the end of the second movie. How on earth does Grindelwald know this and Dumbledore doesn't? There's a weird thing going on with the timeline here too. Albus's mother is thought to have died in 1899, and Percival was incarcerated in Azkaban in the 1880s, so was he released? This would all put Aurelius Dumbledore in his late 20s, but in the first Fantastic Beasts, he seems as though he's a teenager. This also needs explaining, and preferably in the first 5 minutes of the third movie. What do you guys think of the storyline? As always, thanks for tuning in today, guys, and remember to stop by next time for some more revelations. Also, why not share this video with any Fantastic Beasts fan friends you might have? Bye, guys.